family violence protective orders, and I know this is a heavy subject, so it needs to be covered though, because we've got an abundance, unfortunately, of family violence in the state of Texas. And one of the reasons why I like to talk about it, keep it at the forefront, is because it comes up so often in what I do. And I feel compelled to make sure that other children don't grow up in situations of family violence like I did, like my family did, like other people, like my cousins did. So back to Chapter 17, Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, family violence orders. Look, these things are issued by the lowest judges we have, right? Magistrate judges of any kind can issue them. And the reason why is because you got to have access and you got to have speed. And this is one of the things that our legislature did, in my opinion, one of the best jobs we've done in years, is how we've changed the Code of Criminal Procedure to give authority to our magistrates who do so much work, right? When you think about child truancy, evictions, 50% or more of the cases in Texas start in the JP court system. And then there's a whole slew of ticket litigation, right, for those speeding tickets that, our young drivers get and our fast drivers get, and people who, just have these little, brushes with law enforcement. But those judges are empowered by our legislature to issue these very, very strong orders to protect victims of violence for a reason. Other things that you need to be aware of, these, again, we talked about the big things, that this is a family violence order issued on an emergency basis, lasts about 120 days, can be extended, but really not much more than that. It has to be turned into a different kind of protective order. However, in that 120-day period, things happen. If there's a danger to the victim for a release from jail, the law enforcement officer can hold. Even if bail's been posted, law enforcement has discretion under the Code of Criminal Procedure to hold the alleged perpetrator if they think violence is going to happen. Not indefinitely, but for a little bit. The judge who's issuing the EPO can make that call and hold even longer. Law enforcement gets a few hours. The judge gets up to 48, right? So a magistrate judge, right? A city judge can make that call. A JP can make that call if there's need, especially if there's been conviction of family violence in the last 10 years. They're probably going to make that call. Other things that they will do, they'll make sure before the alleged defendant, the alleged violent person, is released from jail, they're going to notify the victim. They're going to notify the victim that, hey, so-and-so is about to get out, about to get bonded out. They're going to make that attempt. And then, more importantly, other things they're going to try to do, other things they're empowered to do. They're empowered to put and require the defendant to pay for it, GPS monitoring, right? So if the judge thinks they're that big of a problem, they make that a condition of release, is that you've got to wear an ankle monitor. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, because, we all know why you're wearing an ankle monitor, right? You can't go to the swimming pool with an ankle monitor on or the gym, right, without people knowing why that's on there. They know that it's on there because the government's monitoring you. So these are things that I hope none of you ever faced with. But I also want you to know that if you are ever faced with them, it's not an impossible burden. If you're charged with this, there's a roadmap to get out from under the emergency protective order, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of self-improvement. And then, if you're the victim of these kinds of situations, be advised that the state of Texas has done a lot of amazing things to put in a lot of mostly automated protections to stop family violence. Can't prevent everything, but once it occurs, to prevent it from getting worse and to protect the family members who are the victims of family violence from further violence. Anyhow, heavy subject, I know it. Any questions or comments on any video platform, I'll reply back, or direct message video back, or both. Thank you so much for being a part of the team and for allowing me to be a part of your team. I hope that you find this informational. I know this one's not uplifting. I like to do some uplifting stuff, but when we're talking about family violence, what we're trying to do is lift up people who've been victims of family violence. So anyhow, see you guys more in the studio coming up next.